Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Atika Aliam Druslan, and today I will present about the Islamization of economics and methodology focuses on definition and scope of Islamic economics. Moving on to the first part of the video. It is about the background of Islamic economics. Islamic economics has been there since a long time. We can see that Islamic economics is practiced since the time of Prophet Mohamed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, the Islamic economics is not turned into disciplines or methodology because the efforts of knowledge during that time is focuses on the divine revelation. Furthermore, people around that time can solve their problems by referring to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, there are various events that can be proved that Islamic economic exists since the time of Prophet Muhammad. This is because the decision made by the Prophet Muhammad is shown that Islamic economics is used during that time. For example, there is one hadith reported by Anas. He stated that one person came to the Prophet and requested him to fix the price in the market, but he refused. Another man came and made the same request, but Prophet Muhammad said the same things, that he cannot do anything about the price. It is Allah who pushed the price up or down. He said he do not want to face Allah with a burden of injustice. Moving on to the second part, which is I will talk about the contribution given by the Islamic scholars. Firstly, we will look at the contribution given by Dr. Hassan Zaman. According to his idea, he said that there are three ways for the scholars to give a definition of Islamic economics. First one can develop the definition of Islamic economics by qualifying the definition given by the modern economics with Islamic. This means that the scholars can simply take the definition given by the modern economics and qualify it with Islam. For example, one can say that Islamic economics means the study of economics in the light of Islamic principle. So at the last sentence, which is in the light of Islamic economics, means is only a qualified term. Secondly, one can give definition of Islamic economics by using the least criticized definition of modern economics. For example, we can use the definition of Robbins and qualify it with Islamic terms. For example, we can say that Islamic economics means a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between end and scarce mean, which have alternative uses in the light of the Sharia. So at the last part of the definition, which is in the light of the Sharia, is only a qualified term to the definition given by modern economics. Lastly, the development of Islamic definition can start from scratch, which is one can develop the Islamic economics by including the prerequisite characteristic of the Islamic way of life. In the last part of the paper, Dr. Hassan Zaman gives his idea about the definition of Islamic economics. According to him, Islamic economics is the knowledge and application of injunctions and rules of the Sharia that prevent the injustice in the acquisition and disposal of material resources in order to provide satisfaction to human beings and enable them to perform their obligations to Allah and the society. Next, the second scholars that give contribution to the definition of Islamic economics can be seen from Mohamed Arif. He also contributed the idea in the articles that published in the Journal of Research in Islamic Economics, same like Dr. Hassan Zaman. However, his article is published 1 year after that. According to him, Islamic economics is a mature science. Therefore, the development of the definition of Islamic economics must based on the scientific justification. There are three things that need to be highlighted on using the scientific justification. Firstly, the definition of Islamic economy must be differentiated with its paradigm. Paradigm means anything that involves law, theory, instrument, and practice concerning the solution of the problem. In this case, he stated that the definition of Islamic economies must not contain anything that related to law, such as accompany the definition with Sharia, if with the term Sharia or Sharia law or Islamic principle. Secondly, he stated that the development of definition of Islamic economies must use an appropriate terminology which will represent the uniqueness of the Islamic. This means that the Islamic economies must not use terms or terminologies used by the modern economies to ensure that the uniqueness of Islamic economies can be shown to the non-believers. It also gives an advantage that if we use our own terms and terminologies, this will show the credibilities of Islamic economies in the light of modern economics. Lastly, in developing the definition that based on the statement of the basic economic problem, the problem must be built-in phenomenon of human life. This means that definition must relate to the problem that the economic agent face within themselves. As a result, Muhammad Arif also gives his idea about the definition of Islamic economy. According to him, Islamic economics is the study of Muslim behavior who organize the resources which are a trust to achieve falah. Lastly, according to Professor Muhammad Aslam Muhammad Anif, in order to have our own definition on Islamic economies, the Islamic economic system itself have to be established. For the system to be established, we need to have our own worldview about the system, which is, according to him, the Islamic worldview focuses on Islam as a way of life. This means that all the Islamic principles must be included in the formation of Islamic worldview. There are 4 principles that have to be emphasized within the Islamic worldview, which is the Islamic worldview must be focused on God, which is Allah Himself, human as the economic agent, Islam as the religion, and lastly the nature. These 4 things have to be included in the development of Islamic worldview. From this, we can say that Islamic worldview is comprehensive. Lastly, Professor Muhammad Aslam gives his own idea on the definition of Islamic economics. According to him, Islamic economy is an approach to interpreting and solving men's economic problems based on values, norms, laws, and institutions found in and derived from the sources of knowledge in Islam. Okay, we have come to the last part of the video where I will present my idea based on the perspective given by the Islamic economists. As you can see, different Islamic scholars have different views on the definition of Islamic economies. Not only that, the modern economists also have different idea on the definition of economics. Therefore, due to differences in the definition, there are some scholars suggested that we don't need to have the definition of the system. However, for me, it is crucial to have the definition of Islamic economies. It is to emphasize that Islamic economy can be established as a system. Other than that, we can also emphasize the components of Islamic economics is relevance for further studies and development. Next, between the focus of definition either on subjective or objective part. For me, both subjective and objective should be there in the definition, because the subjective and objective is related to each other. I think economy consists of both the main behavior and the outcome of their decision or action, which is wealth. Therefore, the definition should focus on both subjective and objective part. Even though it will make the definition quite long, but it is okay. It is okay as long as the definition is clear and easy to understand by the viewers.